All right, welcome back to another episode of the Transformation Chamber. I'm here with my boy, man, my man's Jay Bradley. Man, what's up, brothers? First of all, thanks for being on the show. It's good to see you. After a long night of, he came out to one of the events I was hosting here in Houston, and we're back at it the very next day, making this happen. So I'm glad to have you. Let me give you guys a little bit about Jay Bradley. So much to this gentleman. First of all, he's a real estate broker. Let's get that off the top. One of the most successful real estate brokers that I know, and many other people, and that speaks to why you made 20 under 40 at the Houston Association of Realtors. On top of sitting on the board of that organization now, and was appointed to Texas Association of Realtors, which is not very many people that look like you in that circle. So I'm glad you're representing for us and the people in the group. And then you want to go on. He's a mentor, a father, a brother, a friend, and now you got to add a fashion model. I almost forgot that. You got to put that in there. So, and you'll see why I say that if you're watching the episode online and just check out his IG. And then also you got to add on there actor now because you doing your thing on the TV screen. So
man, look, it's been fun.
It's been cool. So man, Jay, I just wanted to take a little time again and say thank you. And then can you walk us through your background, who you are, where you're from, and how you got to be, such a successful real estate broker and just a gentleman, all in all, like what's your upbringing?
Man, I appreciate that. Man, that's a whole like Flavor Flav hype, man. Like that's you. And I bring you around on a regular basis when I walk in the room. Hey, Dada, go do your thing real quick.
I'll do it, but I'll be a publicist. No, just let me know.
Text you like, hey man, I'm about to go somewhere at 8:00. I need to get about 7:45, and then I'm gonna come in at 8.
Man, I try to make sure all my guests know that I appreciate them and that I know the value that they bring to our culture and to society. So man, you're doing your thing, bro.
That's love, man. It reminds me of the first time we met, which we might have to go into that. Man.
I've definitely got to bring that up.
That is like one of the dopest stories. Shout out to our guy, man.
Jay Brown,
But yeah, man, I'm a Houston cat, man. Southside. I always say Southside, Houston, Texas, man. Missouri City. And just coming up in a great environment. My parents, for me, were really kind of who set the stage of of expectation for life, and what. I guess when it comes to male-female relationships, also entrepreneurship, I saw that at home.
Okay.
So I had kind of like, my own version of kind of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki book, first books that I kind of fell in love with when I got into the part of my career was like, okay, I need to figure out what I need to do. You go to college and it's like, all right, that was cool, but then what do I need to do? And so my dad, my mom, extremely strong, woman, entrepreneur.
Okay.
And, did kind of like, high school and then got into her, her specialization as far as, what she's doing now. But then also I had my dad who, went to PV.
Okay. PV.
Then once he went to the military, kind of in the middle of that, came back, finished up. And then later on in life, went to TCU and got his master's.
Yeah.
Right. And so at the time, he was the only African American in his class, man. So
wow.
While working for kind of like an oil company, man, and so I got a chance to see his progress and progression, man, and through life. And what I realized is there was a lot of times my dad and my mom made the same amount of money. My dad did all this extra education. But then he was in corporate America, and he was literally training his bosses.
Wow.
So if you're training your boss, to me, that meant that you have all the qualifications to do their job. Because you train them how to do their job. But then something says that you're not good enough to do their job. That something to me was who was the people that were hiring the managers.
Yeah.
And so, and then I saw my mom, standing on her feet 12 hours a day, getting the same type of, success, if not even more sometimes without that. So it was like, okay, wait a second. Education is extremely important, yes. And she constantly, both of them, education. But it was really more so like, okay, get into what you're going to do and then be the best at whatever that is.
There we go.
Rather than, okay, this paper is everything and then you're done.
Yeah.
The job was to find what God has created you to do and go be successful in that.
Okay.
And so, so that's my, kind of thing. So dealing with both of those coming up, I just kind of had this when I got into business, like, okay, well, I want this from my dad, but then I have this from my mom. Like, so when you see me networking in the hustle and all that stuff, that's, my mom.
Right.
The dad is the, the serious, businessman, negotiator. That's my dad's side.
Okay.
But then when you get me in a social setting, that's my mom. She put her in the room, man.
She's gonna work
light the whole room up. You know,
I love it because I've seen you work the room before, and I know you have ability to just, we talked about this a few episodes ago. Disarm people, one with your swag, with your style, and then you talk to you and realize, oh man, this guy really knows what he's talking about, and he knows what he's doing. So I've personally seen it with my own eyes, and I'll tell the story how we met real quick. Again, it was so funny. Jeremy Brown, one of my homeboys, he brought us together for a meeting. I can't remember what we were meeting about, but we started talking, and I said something to the extent like we were like, "Yeah, man, we need to follow up." I was like, "Yeah, bro, brothers like us got to stick together. Iron sharpens iron." I think I said I threw it out there, something like that. And then you literally opened up your jacket coat and had that exact verse from the Bible stitched inside your suit. And did you say it's stitched in every suit, or was it just that particular suit?
I have different scriptures in every suit, man.
That's crazy,
keeping the word
bro.
Close to my heart, man. So out of all the scriptures in the world,
that's
you brought that one up. You didn't even bring it up as a scripture. You just said,
I just threw it out there.
Proverbs 27:17. That's my joint.
Man, that's crazy, bro. Talk about, before we get deeper into it, would you mind talking about your relationship with God and how that all plays a role?
Jesus is my homeboy?
Hey, listen.
No, man. Man, I thank God, and I thank my parents for bringing me up in that environment, man. So for me, yes, of course, church on Sundays, but my dad also taught Bible school. He taught Sunday studies, man. So we got there before church, and then I saw my parents, both of them sing. No, I'm not about to sing for
okay.
Both, but I do enjoy singing, man. I grew up singing, and so both my parents sing, and so as a little boy, I was able to see my parents up there singing a duet.
Okay.
So they're serving God.
Yep.
And we go to church not in a manner of receiving, but in servitude, right? And so that was one of the dopest things, man. And then just seeing that and then leading my life with that, man. For me, you might see me like, man, why is Jay doing like three circles and then going straight? Because that's what God said to do. And I'm going to trust that 100%.
Yeah.
And certain environments that I was in as a youngster, man, I was able to kind of understand what that trust is like and what life looks like when you do trust God 100%.
Okay.
And so business moves, I don't care if it's, I've had a lot of other opportunities to where it was like, man, this is a great opportunity. And everybody on my team is like, yes, 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 yes. And God say no. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm going to pass.
Man.
Because whatever he has is going to be greater than whatever they saw. And so, yeah.
That type of faith is, it took me a while, to be honest with you. I had to bump my head a couple of times, but now if it's not aligned in my purpose and my mission, I'm like, I'm good on it. You know what I mean? So
it's almost like how, like with energy though, man, like, I'm really big on the energy. Oprah said something. I'm not one of the brothers that goes around quoting Oprah a lot, man. But Oprah said something that I just totally agree with, man. I read it, and it was you're not only responsible for your energy, but also the energy you allow around
you. Keep around you. Yeah, man.
And that from there was like, okay, wait a second. I need to analyze every single thing. And I'm analytical as all out. It's actually a problem. Just kind of putting it through that filter of, man, is this what God wants from me first? And then if it's what God wants from me, then okay, let's go ahead.
Okay.
Even open up Equinox, man.
Yeah,
I didn't want to open up Equinox at all.
Man, that's another thing. We're here. We're in your place of business. Like, thanks for having us here. Equinox Realty was killing it. I like to say is one of the, how would you say, boutique luxury type of real estate companies. It's very tailored and custom made, just like your suits, like the way you carry yourself, and you get the same experience when working with you. Can you talk about the birth of the company and how long have you guys been going now?
Man, so I think we're at 3+ years right now.
Okay. Talk about that trajectory from coming from corporate America. You did sales, right?
Yeah.
And then you decided to go out on your own. Can you just talk about what led you to make that decision?
Man, it's like, this might be a horrible interview because every answer is going to be like, man, God. Like, man, how'd you get this, God? Man, how'd you do that? God. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that really is from like everything that's successful that I've done in my life, it starts with God, 100%. And all the stuff, the mess up stuff, that's me. That's that stuff. Usually but no, man, I had gotten to a point in my career. I've been in business for 17 years at that point. It's 3 years ago. So I'd been in business 17 years. And you talk about the suits and stuff like that, but the suits came from like a necessity because I was 23 when I got in this business. And at the time, I was selling real estate primarily in Katy, Texas.
Okay.
To people that didn't look like me.
At all.
They looked more like my shirt. They looked like me,
exactly.
Right? Which was cool.
Yeah.
Because it gave me like everything that God allows you to go through and you learn through it, right? So for me, I would walk in the office and people like, they're dressed in flip-flops and jeans and a T-shirt. well, if I do that, I look like the guy they saw breaking the house on the
You're
news
a thug
last night.
now. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I'm a thug, right? And so I was like, okay. And the first question I would get from people that were potential clients would be, hey, how old are you? Because I look young.
Yeah.
I'm 23.
Yeah,
so
you
I
still
look
look
17,
young now.
16. No,
Yeah.
it's bad lighting, man. I always keep a hat on. We get a little shadow. But, so it's that piece, man. And out of that created, okay, man, I got to dress up so that way I look older. So I changed out my Explorer for a Benz, and then I changed out my T-shirt for, I had like one suit that I bought from Men's Warehouse, and I like paid $150 for it, which I thought was crazy price, right? And so at that point, man, I just literally dressed up every day because it stopped the question of, how old are you? How long have you been doing this? And it became more about my success and my tenacity of getting a deal done.
Dope.
And since then, I haven't gotten those questions anymore.
Dope. So you've been just to be clear, you've been in real estate 17 years. We were in real estate 17 years before you crossed over.
Exactly.
And then but you had a background in sales. Something about like restaurateur sales?
Yeah, man. So
technology sales.
I came up kind of doing literally, in a phone center, man. When I was in college, I was a manager of a call center.
Okay.
I started off on the phones and then managed a call center, and that gave me didn't have the fear of the no.
Okay.
But it also allowed me because not only because I was a manager, this is crazy how God does stuff, man, because he's preparing you for every single thing
I 100%
that
agree.
you need the whole way.
I 100%
and you just think,
agree.
man, I had that stupid job. And then, I stopped and blah, blah, blah. Nah, that was something that you needed out of that job because God had something great for you later on, right?
Exactly.
And so I started there. And then when I got to Houston, I finished up with college. And then I actually got into our family-owned restaurants.
Okay.
Right? And so that taught me, and I grew up in restaurants prior to going to college because that was like, I worked my way through college from restaurants. And so at that point, man, it was one of those things where all these skills, like from being attentive as a waiter, and these skills of listening to people, and what they're saying, what they're actually saying, because I didn't have the gift of seeing their body language.
Okay.
We're just on the phone and calls.
Right.
So voice inflection and pauses and grammar changes and these type of things, man, and especially tone, were all the tools that I had to use in order to sell.
Right.
So not only did I have to manage mine, but I also had to be able to listen to theirs and decipher if this was a sales opportunity or not, and move forward. So, so that was cool, man. And I thank all those. I had this manager, his name was Ray, man, and he would come in and you didn't know whether you were getting fired or promoted. Like he would just like steal.
Right.
He was just like, he never had an expression at all. And anyway, I ended up getting promoted from the phones to being a manager and had the number one team. And it was really through that experience that I used a lot of that stuff today. The stuff that I use today as far as in our customer service comes from waiting tables.
Absolutely.
And owning restaurants and connecting with people, the things that you talked about.
Yeah, man. Being able to learn from what you're going through and not just be floating through or existing through it. And I'll give a quick example. I was literally 2 days ago, as I was planning the fashion show we went to last night. Yeah. Actually, when I first decided to be an entrepreneur, my mentor at the time paired me with this guy who I thought was like just super weird.
Right.
But he sold flowers and did events. And I was like, why do you have me with this guy? He was like, if you trust me, I was like, all right, I trust you. So I did that for maybe 6 months. And I just kind of gave up on the guy. I was like, I don't understand why I'm hanging with this guy. But this guy was doing amazing events, hosting all kind of stuff. He showed me so much, but I didn't realize it at the time. Until now, when I'm planning these, elaborate fashion shows, and I'm like, bro, there's no way I would know how to do any of this if I didn't spend that 6 months with that guy. And so in hindsight, I'm like, wow, like everything we go through, like you said, is preparing us for the next thing or for whatever our purpose is while we're here. And which is a great segue because I'm curious of, do you think of your purpose daily? What's your why now? You get up, you've been successful, right? And I don't think we've really spoken to your success. I know it's my job to do so. I don't want you to just stand on a soapbox here and kind of go off. But you are a successful black man in a climate where we're all fighting to try to find more of us, more like us. You know what I mean? But what is the driving force every day? I know you have a daughter. We haven't talked about her much, but do you think about that when you're getting up daily?
Man, I'm one of them dudes, and if you've been around me in the morning time, so sorry to any lady that's been with me and they're not a morning person, because I get up with gratitude, fam.
Okay.
Like, I am like, you remember off of Coming to America. Good morning. Good morning.
That's you in the morning.
That's me, man. That's like, it's just, because there's people that didn't get that gift, man. So what am I going to do with the gift? Like, God has given me a whole nother day, a whole nother 24 hours, man. And hopefully you make it to 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
But that's not promised, bro.
Absolutely.
And so, I've got friends of mine that don't get those anymore, man. And when I think about people the opportunities that we have, man, it just floors me, man. To be alive in this era, there is like, if you have an issue with not knowing something, it's really your issue because the information is there.
Absolutely.
Not only through, other people done iron sharpening iron from that perspective, but even just getting on YouTube.
Yeah.
I call it YouTube University.
Hey, listen, I promise you, I can go off all day of all the stuff that I've learned from YouTube.
Right. By yourself, as long as you have that same device that you can call or text somebody and say, what you doing?
Yep.
You can actually learn from that same device as well.
Exactly.
Man, that's amazing. Because, when I came up, we actually had encyclopedias that had to get updated with information, right?
Yeah.
And then so you had a dictionary that had to get, and they had an atlas.
Exactly.
Right? Now you just literally type in whatever your search preferences is, and then that's it.
Exactly.
Like, come on, man. So if you don't know something now, it's because you choose not to.
You choose not to.
And that's a choice. And that's okay if that's your choice. But don't put it on anything else, man.
Absolutely, man.
So to circle back to your question, man, I start every day off with gratitude for simple things like running water. Sometimes I'll take a cold shower just so I can remember that not everybody gets the opportunity to have hot water.
Man.
And when you take that cold shower, your whole day is changed up, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like I did it for a month straight. It was just like, but it became normal, but that is somebody's norm.
Man.
You know what I mean?
That's cold, bro.
So, no pun intended, right? Like, so for real. So it's one of those things, man, if you start up, like, take some of the stuff that we just get so used to away. Man. I used to have my assistant, man, and she would tell me, like, I'd call her, like, oh, man, this didn't go through it, blah, 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 blah. Jay, first world problems. And that would literally put me back
Bring
to
it
like,
down.
yeah, you're right. First world problems. Like, I just went to the restroom. Somebody else in the village somewhere has to walk 5 miles to get clean water. And we're going to the restroom and literally water that we could drink.
Exactly.
Right? Don't try that at home.
No, I'm not. Definitely. But I feel where you're coming from.
But so I think when you put gratitude in front of things, man, then it makes them clear. So is that problem really a problem, or is it just something that's a learning opportunity for you to get to the next level? Right?
Yeah, bro. It actually leads me to ask. First of all, that's a very that's a great mindset just to have. You know what I mean? To be able to put gratitude in front of everything and understand how it checks your ego, it checks your understanding. It makes you again, and it's the root of the word, but just be grateful to even be alive that day. I think if you start the day off like that, you almost not much can get to you and affect your energy and what you have going on. Which leads me to ask you. Is there a time that you can like pinpoint like the biggest transformation that made you reach that mindset? Was it always like that, or did you go through something to help you get there? Okay,
man. So I was dating somebody, and I thought she was everything.
Okay,
right? I was like 20 something. We get into the nitty gritty right now. We get to the nitty gritty, and she was like, when we broke up, she called me a scrub.
Okay,
and so there's one thing about people from afar saying something about you, but people that's all up
close?
in you, right?
You let them in,
and so there's a lot more self-check that goes along with that. And so I was 23, bro, and I just got in real estate, and she called it a hobby for me.
Wow!
But here's a career that I wanted to throw everything in. You got to realize my dad was in commercial real estate, so for me this was also failing a legacy, right? And so this is what I had seen growing up. I seen my dad be passionate about Sunday dinners and this and that. And we would talk about, my mother did something that I think is amazing. And to this day, I do it with my kids, man, is that, she made us talk at Sunday dinner about our week because there's so often we can just be so busy. I was in football and I played cello and I played piano and I sang. And so I was busy. My mom was like, oh, you're going to be busy. You ain't going to be just up in our house making babies.
Yeah, man. That's dope,
it was like no school, like during summer times. It was school. We were in school year round. We made good grades, and it was like summertime. You in class too.
Yeah.
So this whole like kids getting 3, 4, I never got that.
Yeah.
I'm like jealous. I'm like you the next 4 days, 4 months, you just gonna chill. That's what you gonna do.
That's what you're doing.
You know what I'm saying? That's what you do.
Look how you turned out though. So
man, look, that's gonna be good or bad, right? But to say that, so really like with them, it was really just don't stop, like go, don't. So when she said that to me, called me a scrub, I was like, I had to do a self-check and be like, yeah, I am kind of scrubbing. I am overweight right now. I am not, operating at my best.
Wow.
And so she has no idea how much she motivated me.
Wow.
Because it was close. It was in proximity, man. Like this, she spent the most time. So her scrub was really like, oh, you're a real scrub.
Right.
So I appreciate that, man. And I got in the gym. I literally probably put, I got lean as all out, man. I was in the gym 5 to 6 days a week, and I just changed my life, man.
Wow, bro.
And so and that's kind of like what the devil means to tear you down, God will use to build you up, right? Not calling her the devil by any means, but the negative things in your life that, will come at you, you can take them and be like, oh man, I'm going to take that L. Or you can be like, you know what? That L is a learning opportunity. Yeah. And now I can go and I can do this, man. So, and then it made me kind of like, all right, cool. Let me prove her wrong with this real estate stuff. It's not just a hobby, man.
That's dope, bro.
The year after that, I bought my first flip, made really good money off of that. And I've been investing in real estate ever since. That was my main reason for getting into real estate. I didn't get in it to have a career. I got in it to be an investor and do that. And the real estate itself was actually a paid internship for me.
Okay.
Because I was making commission, but at the end of the day, I was learning how to do investment without my money.
That's what's up.
Right? OPM, other people's money, right?
Yeah, man.
And so I was able to use investors' money, and they were getting something because they were getting a great, passionate real estate agent out of it, and that was really interested in the process. Okay. And so I studied, the first probably 3 to 5 months of my career, just studied. I was so scared to screw somebody's deal up. Like, a real estate investment for most people is the most expensive investment that they've ever done. You just bought a $250,000 house. Do you have $250,000 of stock? Do you have $250,000 of cars? Do you have $250,000 of jewelry or art? None of that. But people were living in a $250,000 house, and the last thing that I wanted to do was mess this investment up. So I was scared to screw up. So I was every class 2 and 3 times. They're like, you've been in this class before. I was like, I know, but there might be something that I missed. Yeah. And until I got to the point where I wasn't missing anything, then I was like, all right, cool, now I'm ready.
Wow. That's that your mom making y'all be in school, making you learn consistently.
Learning was everything, man. So
that's interesting. You are, when we talked about this already a little bit, but the presentation, how you present yourself, right? You did it at first because you wanted to kind of project a more mature person, but now it's developed into something else, right? And I know that it attracts clients to you, right? And make clients respect you and see you in a certain way. Can you speak about the importance of just presentation as a whole now?
Man, it's funny because that's the core values of our company are faith, family, fitness, and philanthropy. And in all those things, though, you'll see us at events. I've been to your events. Right. We all have our T-shirts on.
Right.
We're all representing as one combined kind of unit. And I think when you have at least, all you have to do is judge somebody based. That's my mom, man. You see my mom come in the room. She's cold. I'm talking about. I took my mom. I always with my parents, if they have surgery, they have to go to doctor's appointments. But okay, so I'm usually the person to take them or I pick them up.
Right.
And so you'll see my mom 30 minutes after surgery. She's coming out. She's just in the recovery room. Where's my makeup? Oh, hey, baby, can you go get my makeup? You know what I'm saying? She tried to get it together.
Right.
But I think when you look good, you feel good.
Absolutely.
Right. The same thing with the information. I did not want to go into a meeting and be underinformed. And nowadays, the clients can be so informed because of all the tools that they're at their fingertips. And so for me, it was really always about being prepared. It's like showing up to a football game and you ain't been to practice. You're gonna get hauled out. Hauled out. So make sure you practice as hard, if not harder, than the game is going to be.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's kind of just more of that, just making sure that you have your stuff together, man. So, and I tell kids, when I do interviews and all types of stuff, man, and I'm mentoring, they're like, oh, Mr. J, you fly, man. I was like, okay, I appreciate that, but why? Why am I wearing a suit on a Sunday? Even in my team calls with our team, we're in Zoom calls. I could be in. Look, if I don't dress up, how did, and I don't take myself seriously, then how do you, right? But it comes from being young in the business and also being African American in a business where the audience that I was selling to wasn't really, didn't really see people like me selling real estate.
Super dope, bro. Super dope, man. Yeah. Presentation it's important. And like you say, you get one chance to make a first impression.
Absolutely.
And that's just off the rip. So, I personally, it was the thing, the meeting we showed up in, it was like a casual meeting. I was like, my man's came in a 3-piece suit. I don't even know. I'm like, okay, I had to get ready. And then when you bust open and show me the Bible verse inside, I was like, okay, this is next level tailoring right here. So I could tell you took pride in it. You know what I mean? You talked about mentoring kids and some of the programs you have. Can you speak more to that? I know is it Windsor Village?
Yeah. So man, this is probably like my coolest mentoring story, man. As when I was 16, Windsor Village has a shout out to Windsor Village, man. That's my church home for sure.
A pillar in Houston.
Absolutely,
Houston
man.
For sure.
John and his leadership style, man. As owning a company, man, I look at other leaders that I've been influenced by, and I just appreciate how he shows up. He always has this quote that he says, "You ain't got to worry about me messing with your money nor your honey." You know, so because a lot of times as men, we don't submit, to another man because, okay, I got to trust you not to mess with those two things that are important to me.
I like that.
And so for him to constantly, and I saw my dad trust him in that way because, we all went to the same church and everything like that, man.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, the Boys' Rites of Passage program in Windsor Village, man, as a kid, I was in that program.
Okay.
And so it was, a lot of the principles of kind of like our lineage were involved in it, which was my first experience into African history.
Okay.
Was through that because I didn't learn that in our school system.
Okay.
Right. And so
that's dope that they're teaching that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. Kuki Chakali and all that stuff, man. And it was just like, this
man.
is what? Oh, this is
us.
where we're from?
Yeah. It's so unfortunate, and I'll let you finish. It's so unfortunate that you ask some people about their history, they start at slavery. Like that's what they believe. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, have you peeked past the window and saw like what we really were before that and where we come from and how many things were created from that land? You know what I mean? So, and I just...
Which is an interesting perspective, man, because that's as if your beginning was the most tragic thing that ever happened to you. If you had been, you're 60 years old, but your life started when you got a divorce at 30.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or, when the sexual assault happened or whatever cases, like that's a very traumatic mindset to move forward with. So I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, man. It's you live with that survival. No, it's cool. You live with that survival mentality.
Yeah.
You don't understand living prosperous living.
Yeah.
Like what does prosperous living look like?
Right.
I had to even uncondition myself, and it's an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to condition myself to live prosperous living as opposed to survival living.
Right.
Thinking like hold on to everything or be very, you know what I'm saying, frugal.
Exactly.
And then don't even invest it the right way because the lack of education. Yeah, the fear. Man, that's it. Yeah. Anywho, I'll let you.
No. I think that's actually, man, it's a cultural thing that we have to get ourselves out of.
Yeah.
And it was taught, but we have to unlearn it, man. Because one of the things that what I've realized at this point in life, you're going to get whatever you focus on. So you can focus on the failure. You can focus on this that didn't go right. You can focus on the history starting from here. Or you can focus on the lineage and saying, okay, well, I want to get back to this. Mm-hmm. I heard we used to, be royalty. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to act, okay, that was part of it. But I'm going to go back. We're going to skip a couple chapters before that.
Yep.
And then start from there.
Yep.
Because that gives it a different mindset.
Yep. I agree with that 100%. You have this saying, or you had this post that I saw, and it kind of goes with that. It read, the new you starts by saying goodbye to the old you. And obviously on the surface, that makes sense. Would you mind to delve into that a little bit more? The intricacies behind that. It's not just a surface statement, but one, when did you ever have to say goodbye to an old version of yourself? And two, why is it so important? Why do people need to be able to make that transition? And especially when you get older, because the older you are, the harder it is to change. And that's what I'm learning.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'm
approaching
I'm approaching my 33rd birthday. And I'm like, man, I thought I worked on this already.
It seems like I'm smelling like a little youngster over here.
Boy. So talk about, that saying and why is that something you live by?
Man, so I think sometimes we just have to reprogram ourselves. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you might have picked up some messaging along the way through a relationship, or maybe, through society has taught you some things, or the environments that you're in, and you added all that to mean this. And then you start operating as if that's the only reality.
Right.
And then you get into the world and it's like, well, this person's doing this and this. That's what I love about having like dope people around me, man. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want any, yes men around me. Everybody around me can like drop kick me in my throat in any moment with some knowledge and checking me, So, and you usually see me, it's like, man, I kick with my day ones. People I've known 15, 20 years that have seen me go through different stages in life just because of that.
Okay.
Hey man, you picking up that behavior again, bro. Uh-huh. I thought you said you was done with that.
Okay.
Fact. Just those two sentences is enough.
That's enough.
Because here I am going back and the work to change into something that you currently are is very hard.
Yeah, man.
Right? But it's going to be work either way. You know what I mean? So am I willing, because the why that you asked about earlier is extremely important. Those are my little ones, man. My family legacy. Like I was raised where your last name means something.
Absolutely.
My dad put his finger in my chest, was like, I didn't mess up your last name, and you're not about to do it either.
Whew.
Mom was the same way. You know, your daddy ain't out here doing the stuff in the streets and this and that and all that stuff, and you're not about to do it either.
Yeah.
So, and when you wake up with that, and then you have the gratitude, and it's like, man, I get to do this again, then what am I going to do with it? And there's a certain responsibility to that. On top of that, I know that there's little kids that look at me like that I've mentored, and they'll just hit me up randomly from 15, 20 years ago. Mr. J, I see you doing your thing.
Yeah.
That's like a constant reminder of like, oh, it's not just the ones that have my last name, right? The ones with my last name, I'm supposed to take care of those,
Absolutely.
make sure that those are fed.
Yeah, man.
And provide for them and make sure that they college or whatever they choose to do. But the ones that don't have my last name, and that might not look for me, well, how am I showing up for this kid, right? And so for me, it's all one thing, man. It's all a way of the way that you should live your life and continue to live your life, because it's not just about you. It's a selfish mindset to think that it's just about you and yours.
Yeah.
You know, what you're doing has affected my kids. You know, because people are like, oh man, I see you came with this person. The dudes that you see me around are all great fathers.
Bruh.
All great fathers.
That's so good.
And not by happenstance.
Yeah.
I don't trust you if you're not a great father to the people that look like you and sound like you.
Come on, dog. Yeah, if you don't take
at
care
minimum.
Of this, I'm not here to judge, but I could tell when we got some character differences. So let's not even. And you said something so cold that made me think of this. You can't really show up for somebody else unless you show up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You need to show up for yourself first, so you can be in a healthy space to show up for other people. You know what I mean? So with that, I really appreciated how you said that, because we think our decisions are only affecting us, right? And the stuff that we watch and the stuff that we take in and the stuff that we put out into the world. But how is it truly affecting even society, the people around you? Yeah. And I think we're in a society now, this is just my thought, where people don't like to take ownership of the things that they're producing, right? Like, and so you don't think that's going to affect the kids? And would you be okay? I had something happen to me the other day, and I thought to myself, would I be okay if my daughter did that? You know what I'm saying? Just if I had a daughter and she was doing that, would I be okay with it? So I probably shouldn't be consuming that, or I probably shouldn't be, just keeping 100. And it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying, but to your point, if we all had a more conscious mind thinking like that, I think we would get ourselves into a better place as humanity as a whole, right? I don't have all the answers, but I definitely think if we start living more with the consideration of what we're doing, how it's affecting the youth, I think we'll be in a better place, man. So
as a human race, man.
As a human race, yeah. It's so easy to be selfish and think about your one existence here and your 80, 100 years that you're here on this planet. Right. But what are you doing that's going to create a ripple effect long after you're gone?
Man, I was in a meeting, in a real estate development meeting one time, and these guys, we talk about 5-year and 10-year plans for development or whatever cases, and these guys were like, what's the 100-year and 500-year plan?
Yeah, bro, it's real. Right? Yeah,
but we weren't
taught that at all
to think that far.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about my little funky 80 years.
Yeah. I'm trying to get my
I'm trying to get mine. It took me
maybe 100 if I'm
right.
It's so
if I stretch before I work out.
I wish I could remember where I heard this from. It was a documentary, I believe, that the super wealthy, the super rich, they plan in 40-year increments.
Yep.
I was like, yo, like that kid is born, his 40 years is already planned out for him. Yep. And then he takes part in that next 40-year planning.
But think about it like we're talking about from a financial perspective, right? Which is great. But what about the internal piece of you? Like what about, the 40 years for my kid and if I need to be able to look and see what my son looks like at 40, what am I creating now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, for me, I have my daughter first, right? So my daughter's 14 now. And it changed up the way that I viewed certain things in life. Like certain songs come out now, and I'm like, I can't believe they play that on the radio. Now,
exactly.
Wow, are you serious?
Exactly.
I can't have my child listening. But back in the day, I was listening.
You was the kid, yeah. Trust me.
But it's perspective, right? And so it's the same thing. And so now it's just like, okay, well, I'm thinking if I would have thought about that 40 back then, of like, okay, if I have a daughter, and what am I okay with her doing and seeing and hearing, then what do I change about the things that I do today, right? And so that's the piece where I'm kind of looking at, man, where it's just like, okay, well, we need to think further down the road.
Yeah, man. Okay, you know what? It was so funny is what's his name? Dr. Miles Monroe.
Absolutely.
He talked about how the way to this is how you can measure a man by his appetite. Yeah. And not just like his food, but what he likes to consume with his eyes, with his ears, into his soul. You know what I mean? So going back to what you said, when you're young, you're not really conscious, you know what I mean, of it like that. So I give myself a pass for some of the stuff, and then you try your best. And, I have my sons. I have my sons basically. I try not to be too like hard on them, but at the same time, like, yo, we got to watch what you're consuming, or at least create this consciousness when you consume it. Because the problem is when you're not conscious of what you're consuming, and then it starts to consume you. You know what I mean? So,
I got a story that you'll like, man.
Go ahead.
I'm a Southern hip hop fan.
Okay.
Like, anybody that's from Houston, from the South, that's really doing great things in hip hop, man. I consume. So I remember, I love UGK, man. When I was my brother he's 5 years older than me, man, and we were in his room, like listening to it. But only songs I listened to as a kid. Like Take 6.
Yeah.
I thought I was grown when I got me an Albert Shore album, man. And like my mom was like Christian hip hop, all that stuff, because she was very aware that, what I'm programming myself with will come out in some way, right? So my brother's like, yo, I got this new song, blah, blah. He put the tape in. This is back when we had the tapes. He's playing it like the first UGK.
Yeah, man.
First one, when it was raw. And my dad walks in the room. Brother, he hit stop. My dad was like, "Now let's listen to that. What y'all in here huddled up around the speaker?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's listen to it.
Let's see what y'all really listening to."
And they went in.
Yeah.
It was some of the lyrics that were talking about women in certain ways and this and that. My dad hit stop. He took the tape and he crushed it in his hand. He said, "You have a mother. Just how you would like somebody talking to your mom." First of all, I thought he was Superman for crushing, saving his head. I was just like, he crushed it. Yeah. Like, he didn't break that joker first, didn't crush it. It was straight. It. Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
But, but we have to be aware. So, I love hip hop, man, and all that stuff, but I also program myself every morning with motivational stuff. When I go on my morning run, man, that's what I listen to. Like my watch automatically, when I hit start for my run, it automatically starts with that.
Absolutely.
In my ears. Because we have to be intentional.
Absolutely.
Right? And if you want to change a behavior,
there we go.
If you want to do something, you have to pour in to your vessel with something that is going to fuel it for what you're, like when let's say a NASCAR race, right? They have special fuel. You can't put what we get in at the Exxon or the Chevron in those cars because they're built to do something specific, right? And so if I were to take that gas and put it into that car, it's not going to go 200 miles an hour around the corner. Right? Same thing for the tires, right? But same thing with our minds. If we're not fueling ourselves with the right fuel,
absolutely,
and being specific about what our intended destination is,
absolutely,
you're just going to end up anywhere.
You're just existing at that point.
Just because it's playing on the radio don't mean you need to listen to it.
Exactly. I think the main thing is, again, going back to becoming conscious, removing the veil, is realizing there's a time and a place for everything. Like if I'm going out with my boys, we chilling, we hanging. We can play.
Right.
You
We're
know
not
what I'm saying?
listening to Tony Robbins in the car.
Exactly.
We're not listening to E.T. on the way out.
You got to also like switch it up. And that's the challenge is people who just consuming it all day and are unaware how it's affecting their soul, and then they go out and reproduce some of the things that they hear. So I don't hold celebrities or musicians to any, like, you just a person who happen to make music and you're successful and I enjoy your music. Right. But I'm not saying that because you're doing it, I need to go do it too. Yeah. And so, and I say that because I'm cool with Bun and UGK and all them.
Love
I work
Bun,
with them.
Man.
So
like, stuff he's doing in the community, man, I'm so proud, man.
I mean, he's intelligent, bro. So,
Absolutely.
I can go all day. Okay, let me, I wanted to get this question from you because this is part of the reason why I created the podcast, because if I go to your Instagram, obviously, and I ask this question all the time, it looks like you wake up and you win every day. Like there's no failure for Jay. Like, how is this possible? You know what I'm saying? So, talk about a time where you wanted to quit, bro. Like it just wasn't making sense, or it was easy. It felt easier to give up right now. I just want to stop doing this and go do something else. Go back to work and selling, technology or whatever.
Man, it was a time, like I'm 20 years into my career now and selling real estate. And sometimes first time home buyers is a very much of an education process, right? And so what I've realized now, of course, from this is that I have to do the things that I thoroughly love to do. I had like 5 or 6 first-time home buyers at the same time, and all of them were like they just were very like just needed a lot of time.
Gotcha.
And I didn't have systems in place.
Gotcha.
I didn't have systems to educate my clients, so I was doing all the client education myself. The website didn't have anything about, okay, here's your process, so forth, so on, and this and that. And so I had like 5 or 6 at the same time, and it's kind of like it's funny because I waited tables, but it's the home buying process is very much the same. If everybody comes in and needs all their drinks at the same exact time, then the waiter is what they call in the weeds. And so in real estate, I was in the weeds at 5 or 6 buyers at the same exact time, and I didn't have systems in place, right? So what they do to keep people out of the weeds is they'll give you a table here, then they'll send somebody else, and then they'll give you another table.
Okay.
And then that way, when you're needing your drink, somebody else is on the appetizer, somebody else is getting the dessert, somebody else is getting the check. And there's different parts of that process that aren't as intensive for the waiter. In the beginning, the greeting, getting everything together, all that stuff is very intensive part of the process. And so for me, I had these, and I was just like, I can't all at the same time. And I mean, I'm a workaholic, man. Well, back then I was. I was working 7 days a week.
Okay.
And then I got to the point where I started taking a day off or whatever case, and now I take weekends off, stuff like that. But I was 7 days a week, and this was all day, every day, plus the other stuff that I was dealing with. And so I've gotten to that point a couple times in my career, and then now I can sit back and I mean, it was like, I'm done. This is just way too much. And I had other business stuff that I was doing. I got to realize not only do I just sell real estate, but I was also, doing flips and investment stuff, and then my other investments outside of that, and then life stuff, and I was married with a kid and all that stuff, so whatever case. So good stuff. But at the end of the day, it just got to the point where it was overwhelming, and I wanted to quit. And then I just sat back, and the one thing that I do well is I will sit back and unpack everything.
Okay.
And I'll say, okay, this is happening because I feel this way. What is making me feel this way? And then, okay, what can I change that? Is there a system that I can put in place to where because I want to do the stuff that I want to do.
Exactly.
I'm selfish as hell when it comes to that.
Man, listen.
Like if it's something that I don't enjoy, bump it. Let's find, because there's somebody one of my coaches, man. He's like, man, what do you like to do? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, I love negotiating. I love, helping my client find this. I love digging into, the reasons why they're doing something and helping them find the best option for that. And he's like, okay, what do you don't like to do? I was like, I don't like doing this. I hate doing this. I hate doing this. Like, well, why are you doing that?
Right.
I thought he was going to try and make me the stuff that I hate doing.
Right.
And he was like, nah. Like, why would you don't like doing that anyway?
Yeah.
So, and you're never going to be as good as somebody that likes doing that. So what I've done now is I find people that love doing that part. If you love educating a client, that's your thing.
Yeah, man.
Like when you're in a business meeting and everybody's like, okay, when you got a great idea, like, I want to do this. And they're like, okay, well, that's you. You're doing that. No. I'm just bringing the idea. Yeah. No, that's you. So when somebody comes to me, so the first thing that I do when I hire people in my office is I do a DISC assessment.
Okay.
And I want to see what are the things that you enjoy doing? And I'm going to put them in the role that works for them based on their personality.
Gotcha.
Right? Because if you put somebody that loves to do paperwork in a sales position, they're going to hate you and they're going to hate the job, and there's going to be a higher attrition rate. And then you're just going to make you hate your job. You're going to train somebody else.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, if I can put everybody in a position that they're going to be successful in, you love doing paperwork, baby, you got it.
You got it.
You know what I'm saying? Put me in front of people. You probably hate negotiating deals.
Yeah.
But I love negotiating
deals. That's how I am. Yeah.
Put me, because it's let me help people get through the process in their mind and working through some things. And that way I can make a deal happen. That's what I'm passionate. I saw my dad do that. So I'm passionate about doing that. So for me, the solution was do the things that you enjoy doing and don't do the things that you don't enjoy doing. It sounds so simple.
Super simple.
But at the end of the day, we really will focus on, like, you go to the doctor's office. You might not see the doctor till all the blood work is done, till all your, you've weighed in, all that stuff. Yeah. Why would real estate be any different?
Yeah.
I'm here to negotiate deals for you. I don't need to open a door.
Yeah.
Or I'm here to, help you work through this part of the process and analyze that, but you don't need me to tell you how to fill out the paperwork.
Yeah.
Right? Because somebody else enjoys doing that. Can I do that part? Great. But what is going to be the highest and best customer service experience that I can give you?
Absolutely.
And me operating in the stuff that I don't enjoy ain't that.
That's not it. That's not it, for sure. Okay, man. No, this has been good. I have a final question for you before we go to the next part. With all that we've discussed, what is the biggest thing you want like, what is your message that you want to get across to people? Thinking about coming from where you've come from, taking into account of not having systems and learning how systems has helped you, finding a way to be successful, even though, not everybody can say they had two parents to kind of show them that, but you had the wisdom to learn from both of those, right? Like Rich Dad Poor Dad, which that was one of the first business books that I read too, to kind of help me out a lot. So it's interesting that you started there. What is your overall message to people now? If you could stand on the stage and just say, to a room of people who are looking for success, and I want to make sure I say this, these are for my people who are watching. Don't let the look fool you. You know what I'm saying? So my guy looks really young. We look about the same age. You're probably even younger than me, but you've been doing this for a while and you've attained a certain level of success that people are still reaching for, including myself. So what would you say to those individuals?
Man, 20 years in the game at this point, man, of selling real estate. And what I've learned about myself is that I'm not going to be great at everything. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. Like there's some things that you do way better than me. Mm-hmm. And I could probably train every day to try to do those things. That's not my gift.
Yeah, man.
Right? And just being 100% happy with who you are, doing what you like to do.
Yeah, man.
There no longer are the days where we have to do this particular job to make this particular money. You can create whatever it is. And I feel like we talked about earlier, that God has prepared you for all the things, like, the job doing telemarketing, restaurant stuff, sitting down with my dad, and my family on Sunday dinners and talking about business and entrepreneur stuff from my mom and seeing those things. Everything that you have right now and that you've experienced right now is created for something that God truly has for you. So that way, that special thing that Joshua Dada does, at the end of the day, only you can do that well. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so there are some things that we all have in our lives that are meant for us to create whatever it has for God's kingdom.
Absolutely.
And then that's the way we glorify God's kingdom, right? So at the end of the day, to shorten the answer, do what you love to do. Mm-hmm. If you like to basket weave, then figure out the best way to basket weave.
I agree.
And create a system for basket weaving and then a teaching mechanism to help other people that want to be basket weavers, and then grow it that way, and then be the top of the basket weaving community because you're passionate about that.
Yeah.
Why would you build staplers? Be the best basket weaver. Mm-hmm. My mom was like, man, look, I don't care what you do in life. Be the best whatever it is. So if you're going to be the best ditch digger this side of the Mississippi, then be the best ditch digger this side of the Mississippi.
Martin Luther King.
But be passionate about it.
Yeah, man.
I want to go through life like, yeah, man, I'm about to go to the J, bro.
Yeah. Oh, that used to be the worst, man. When I worked at corporate America, boy, it was the worst. But you saying that made me think of Martin Luther King has this poem, he said it in the middle of his speech called Street Sweeper. Mm-hmm. Basically, his point was, I don't care what you do, be the best at what you do. Yeah. And then he even goes on to say at a different speech, and he was speaking specifically to black people, but you could take it for any race that you're in. Don't just strive to be the best black person either. Because like if you do that, you just failed. You failed yourself, Be the best, period. Find out what you're supposed to do, what you're here to do, and do that. And so whenever I do my public speaking engagements, I'll say that poem, you know what I'm saying, just to let people know, like, yeah, whatever you do, whether he said, like, if you sweep streets so well that all the hosts in heaven and earth will say, here lives a great street sweeper who swept his job well. He cold with it. So, all right, so we're going to go with rapid fire. Just, I say a word, you say the first thing come to mind, I'll read a sentence, and then you finish that sentence for me. Right. First word is black wealth.
Generational.
Mm-hmm. Gentleman.
Every man.
Fashion.
Ooh, fun.
Success.
All day.
Quality.
Life.
Fitness.
Every day.
Legacy.
Bradley.
Okay. Favorite pastime?
Man, I love to play with my kids, man.
Okay.
Are we rapid fire?
We still rapid fire. I mean, you still got to answer as fast as you can. Favorite song?
Love.
Okay. Music Soul Child?
Yeah.
Okay, bet. Yeah. Favorite place to travel?
Europe.
Jay Bradley is
dope.
for my kids, I would
do anything and die.
The best way to impress the ladies is
be yourself.
Okay. One thing that people would be shocked to know about me?
I have ashy feet and ankles most of the time. I don't lotion up my ass and feet, bro. It's a waste of lotion. You're not gonna see them anyway.
No, that's not how it works. No, I actually I thought you were gonna say that you played the cello, but you had said that earlier already. So yeah. I remember when I found that out about you, I was like, man, I had no clue. So, all right, describe yourself in 3 words.
Fun, energetic,
grateful. Dude, that's good. So next we're going to the people want to know, what are you listening to, watching, or reading right now? It doesn't have to be motivational, inspirational, just whatever it is in your pastime.
For me right now, I'm reading Obama's book that just came out.
Okay, cool.
I've been so excited, man. I read his other ones, and he's just a source of inspiration. Absolutely. Michelle's book was dope too. What am I watching? I don't watch much TV, but right now I am watching Ready to Love.
Okay, yeah, you got to watch. Oh man, I skipped that whole question. I'm so glad you said that. We'll get into it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Ready to Love, Open Network with nephew Tommy, man. Shout out to him over there.
Yeah.
And what am I listening to? A book. I love music though. I'm a hip hop head, so I've been going back to the old Jay-Z.
Can't go wrong with Jigga, man.
Yeah, man.
That's
and
my
then,
guy.
My guy, man. What was his last album? Middle Child, man. Like,
J. Cole.
Yeah, J. Cole.
Yeah.
I like poets, man.
Yeah.
I'm cool with rap, but there's a lot of rappers that are poets. Like J. Cole is one of those. Tupac is one of those. Kendrick, absolutely. You know, so those are the type of guys. I think 3 Stacks is
for sure.
You know, So those are. Yeah.
Okay, so now we got to go back real quick. Ready to Love. That's the show that you're currently on Network, right? It's on Oprah's Network. Yes. And oh man, as much as you can give us about that experience, please. I don't know how I had that was the only thing I really had highlighted. It jumped right over it. But yeah, man. So if you don't know, I'll set you up real quick. You were selected to be on this reality show, Ready to Love.
Yep.
One of the coolest brothers on there, and of course I'm partial because he's my homie. But you got to check it out when you get a chance. But yeah, man, just tell us about that whole process, that experience, and what you've learned, and how's it going.
I think it was a great experience. I don't say no often. If it's something like I pray about it, and if God says yes, and it's usually I'm thankful that I get relatively a quick answer, then I'll just go in.
Nice.
And I did it without watching the show before.
Yeah,
So there's like 3 seasons before us, and I just was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go. And there's guys over there were like, oh man, I watched every episode, but I didn't want to. I have a very analytical mind, and so I didn't want to try to navigate the process through analysis. I wanted to just receive it. So like the first night, somebody got eliminated, and they were like, I was like, elimination?
Yeah.
Elimination. Right.
So you didn't even know that was part of the thing?
I didn't know.
Wow.
Like I heard some things, but I just really wanted to have this organic experience.
The homie that got eliminated, I believe he went to U of H. I know him through some third connections, but yeah, he was a little different.
Yeah,
if you watch the show, you know he was getting eliminated.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
My bad.
But as far as, I guess, it forced me to get outside of my comfort zone.
Okay.
And I think growth always happens when you get outside of your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
So here, I know the people that are on our team. You know, I've hired them. They're all amazing people. You know some of them. And so that's very comfortable. But to say, all right, you got to pack up all your stuff and go to a whole nother state, and you might be here for a month, and you don't know anybody here. And oh, by the way, no cell phones, no laptops.
That's crazy.
And I have businesses that
to run, right.
So it forced me into a couple things. One of them is making sure that I had the right people in place.
Yep.
Which thank God I did. I came back. We had our best month ever.
Wow.
Without me being here, so I don't know what that says about me. I'm messing up the squad.
Like, do we really need?
Right. He finally gone. But no, I had some of the team like Porsche and some other agents that really just stepped up.
Yeah.
Shout out Porsche. Matter of fact, shout out to you.
Yeah.
I met Porsche.
At a networking event. Yeah. That's
and
dope.
She ran
bro.
up on me, and I was calling beast mode. Right.
Dope.
So, you're the connecting tissue, man. So at the end of the day, man, for me, getting there was outside of my comfort zone. It was outside of real estate, and it forced me to grow in areas. For example, you're in the bubble because of quarantine. You know, you're in the bubble, and so that made me just find ways to be free.
Awesome.
When I wasn't free.
Okay.
In a perspective, not like a Mandela or something like that.
Yeah.
But even with situations like that, he stayed free the entire time, even though he was in prison.
Yeah.
And it was because of where his mind was.
Exactly.
Right. And so in that situation, you're not eating the food that you want to eat. You're not going to your favorite restaurants. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. But it made me kind of say, okay, cool. And what? Now what are you going to do? Okay, you're having to deal with this person who you don't necessarily like every day. You don't have a choice about that. Now what are you going to do? You don't get a chance to choose everything in life, and it's not always going to be your way.
Absolutely.
So if you're really about this gratefulness, how are you going to be grateful in these moments? And so thank God I brought like 3 books with me, man. And so I would go out to the pier in the mornings before everybody got up, and I would just wake up earlier than everybody else, and that would be my way of gearing myself up for the day, because that part I was in control of. And even if I couldn't go out to the pier, I was in control of being able to wake up earlier and say, okay, cool, let me pray and let me, there's times I was reading the hotel Bible, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have my phone. I'm a Bible app dude, right? So I had all my favorite scriptures served up in there, and I got both, I got both, I've got multiple in there. And so I pulled out the Gideon joint, and
That's crazy, man. No, that's good to hear. It's cool to see your homies on the screen. Like I said, we're still in the season, so I know we can't give away too much. But man, I'm looking forward to see the rest of the season. You are one of the few dudes on there who I thought was like played it super cool and handled himself well. So I'll be tuned in some more. You guys tune in when you get a chance. Okay, we'll get one more thing out of you. Let's go obituary question. 100 years from now, we're at your funeral. Somebody wrote your obituary and put it in the Houston Chronicle. What would you imagine it says? Like, what do you think your obituary would read based on the life you live?
Ooh, it's kind of a morbid question.
That's definitely a morbid question.
But it's something I think about, though.
Okay.
Like, I think of what would I be okay written on my epitaph. And here lies a great dad is all I need.
Man.
And so my goal is to create that in life. And focus on making sure that my kids, when I'm gone, the greatness that God has put in me goes through me into them. So, obituary wise, man, it's great family, man.
Yeah, man.
The business stuff and all that stuff is cool, whatever. That stuff, I am one of those people, and no diss against any award that I've ever received. I've received many, but I don't know where most of them are. I do know where the book that you got, like I literally write in that.
Oh, the one I gave you for that. That's what's up, bro. Yeah.
I actually was writing in that the other day, man.
Solid. I figured you would appreciate that.
A really good friend of mine, man, one of my best friends, Sam, writes a gratitude list every morning.
Okay.
And I now write my gratitude list.
Okay.
And that was one of the things.
Dope.
But anyway, so, but yeah, man, just the stuff about family is more important. And, if I was able to be, leave the legacy of certain things as far as when I'm mentoring, because I think, and you do a lot of mentoring, so this is like you go there thinking that you're giving to somebody else, but you're receiving so much more, man.
So much.
So it's like, what am I going to learn today from these kids?
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean? And
that's the cheat code right there, man. That's the cheat code of life. I feel like you first you have to be trained to give, and you don't quite understand,
right?
But then when you get to a place. And this is why I do that concert that I gave you that thing. This is why I do that. And I explained to somebody this. I was like, when I give at the end of the year, when I allow God to use me, whatever, through the events, through your donations, because you donated to my cause. And when I see those kids will happen to be in Ethiopia, but sometimes it's the homeless, sometimes it's kids here in Houston. The energy that I get back from that only gives me more motivation to level up. You know what I mean? So it's kind of it's not to be selfish, but if you can learn how to give from a pure heart and just enjoy the space that you're in when you're able to give gratitude. Once again, now more is coming, and you're gonna make sure you have more to continue to give. It's a feeling that you just got to keep chasing. So I think that's the cheat code is to give, right, and then learn what you're receiving by giving.
So when I opened up the company, that was the main thing. It's because I was like, we're making this money, cool. That's what you're supposed to do, part of business. But what are you doing with it? Are you impacting somebody else? Once again, somebody that doesn't necessarily look like you, right? And so, the faith, the family, the fitness, the philanthropy, that's big. And so when you host your events, the reason why, because that's like, and hopefully I'll have our entire team at your next event.
No.
But it's really about serving our community.
Absolutely.
And not just pulling from our community.
Absolutely.
Because it's that same thing of like, but when you actually, you get so much back, and then that is the fuel that keeps that whole thing going.
Man.
So, yeah.
So just to be in a position to be able to help someone, that right there alone is a blessing.
Yeah.
So, but some people don't recognize it. So
I think it's only because if they haven't done it, then because you were surprised like I was once I started mentoring, like, there's a high that I get.
Exactly.
It's like, it's a serious, like, energy influx, influx of energy that I get, and it reinvigorates me to kind of like, man, I want to do it some more.
I got to do it some more. Yeah,
it's
man.
Like, you've probably done this too. Like, I just might buy somebody's food at a restaurant or something like that. Or I was at the gym one day, and this lady had like 3 boys. And, I got into my car, and she was in the car next to me, and I waited for her to get in so that way I can open my door. And I saw she had these 3 boys. They're walking out from the barbershop, and I was like, man, that's $20 a head. That's like $80.
Yeah, man.
And then plus tips, she probably just spent a rack. And that's every 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
And I was like, and I also saw her door barely open. Like, it opened up.
Okay.
Dent in the side, and this and that. I was like, ma'am, just whoop. And she was like, why? And I was like, because.
Yeah, man.
Just got in the car and rolled off. But those are the things where it's like, you got 3 heads.
Yeah.
That's every week or every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks, yeah, man.
Listen. I cut my son's hair, man. That's my thing with him.
Same here.
Yeah. There's an experience. It's the bonding.
My mom was a single mother, 4 of us, 3 boys, and she was paying that bill. And Lord knows we didn't have it, but she was. After we got tired of the chili bowls, we got tired of the chili bowls that she was cutting. We was like, Mom, we gotta go to the barbershop. So no, that's so real, and it's so funny because you said that on my birthday this year. I've done it before in the past. I allow everybody a chance to give by donating, dumping into my Cash App. I don't touch 1 penny of it. All of it goes to somebody else. But the thing I like doing the most, I do different things with them, but the thing I like doing the most is sneaking up behind people in H-E-B and Walmart or Target and swiping the card. I swipe the card and pay for it, and they like, I'm just like, Merry Christmas. Because my birthday is close to Christmas. I'm just like, Merry Christmas.
You a Capricorn too, bro?
No, I'm a Sag.
Okay.
A couple days. So you a Capricorn?
Yeah,
okay.
Bro.
It makes
almost
sense.
made
Close.
it. Okay,
you almost there. We still accept you. You cool. Nah.
You got to think about it. Capricorns end the year off, and we also begin it, man.
Yeah. That's not always, a great thing. So y'all first to be last and last to be first.
If you want to have it it's all good.
I'm messing with you. Nah, man. Yo, Jay Bradley, this has been a blessing, man. If you have it, you can give it. If not, but I always like to ask people, what's the greatest piece of advice you ever heard or that you like to give people? You've given us a lot already. Don't feel compelled to, but if you have anything you'd like to share, man, feel free.
I just posted this yesterday, so it's funny you said that, man. My dad, who's like my best friend, bro, and I was young, and I was like, Dad, what should I? How do I know I found the right one? His reply was, focus on being the right man.
Boom. This has been another episode, an epic episode of the Transformation Chamber with my brother, Jay Bradley. I actually saw that post the other day. I read it. I was like, yo, that's hard. So I appreciate you, brother, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Much love, man. We'll catch y'all next time, man. Thanks for tuning in. Peace. Thanks again for tuning in to the Transformation Chamber. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. To find out more about Jay Bradley, follow him at jbrad or visit his website, jbrad.com. To find out more about the Transformation Chamber, follow me at Joshua T. Dada or visit my website at joshuatdada.com. Until next time, peace.